I'm back. It's me, Josh here, working on the GPR SHO project, or to sort of simplify it a little bit, the Jetski that's getting the really big engine swap. I'm going to be taking a look at the different transoms and intake grates to see what will work, and also will be finalizing the exhaust setup for this build. So this is the transom plate for the GP1200R. If you're saying to yourself, what is a transom plate? It is this metal piece right here. It's the actual piece that bolts to the back of the jet ski. And obviously this is what the jet pump bolts to, and that's the impeller and everything. I'm measuring this spot between the hole and this edge. So that's right at 3/4 of an inch. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm gonna go measure the one on the FZR so you can see the difference. We're looking at the pump section of the FZR, and it still has, this is the wearing section that's still installed. This piece a little more forward is the transom plate here, and it's a much thicker transom plate. I'm gonna go ahead and measure that. All right, that was kind of difficult to film it while I was measuring, but it measures out to 2 3/4. So this transom plate is literally 2 inches longer. The transom plate off of the FZR is not a direct bolt onto this. I believe the bolt pattern is the same, but it's a little bit different fitment, so there would need to be some fiberglass work done on this hole to fit that particular transom. So for me, instead of using the transom off the FZR, I'm going to go ahead and stick with the 1200R transom, and then use this right here. This is a 2-inch spacer off of the GP1300R. This is the wear ring off the 1200R. They just bolt together. They go up on here like so. And then that's how I achieve the extra 2 inches that we need here for the drive shaft, as opposed to trying to swap over to the FZR transom. So just for me, this is an easier way to go. A little side note is that the drive shaft that I am going to have to use will be the FX SHO drive shaft, which is a little bit shorter than the FZR drive shaft. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove the intake grates from the 1200R and the FZR so I can compare those. These are the intake grates. This one is from the FZR. Let me just write it on there. I'll literally just write it on there. And this is the 1200R. These bolts here go into the pump tunnel. So essentially, to run the FZR one, we would not even use those, which honestly, that's probably giving some support to the pump tunnel itself. So it doesn't seem like a good idea to get rid of those. And also, just they're kind of two completely different things. So if I was to use the transom mount off the FZR, I think I'd have to figure out a way to use this 1200R intake grate and pump shoe, because the FZR one just for one thing, it's too wide in this section right here as well. So I just wanted to point out the differences again here and here. So it'd be kind of weird to fit this up to that other transom, and I'm just not sure how I would even go about doing that. So I mean, obviously it could be done, and like I said, I think if I set it up to have these bolt holes on this one, and so it was all bolted together, it probably adds a little bit of strength and rigidity, but I'm not going to do anything with that at this point. I've got the engine bolted in there just for mock-up right now, and then we're going to pull it out and do all the fiberglass that needs to be done. Before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and get this exhaust system all mocked up inside there. Alright, this is the exhaust manifold here. You can buy an exhaust manifold that's custom made that has this bend removed. So, you know, instead of this 30 or 35 degree angle, it would just go straight, which helps for the fitment in these holes. I actually talked to Sam from Elite Customs, and he had all the parts I would need to just make this a bolt-on type of deal. I'm just trying to use the parts that I already have to keep this thing on a little bit more of a budget. It is going to take me a little bit extra time to fiberglass, but I'm just taking that little extra time to save me a little bit of money. This pipe curves, and when there's a whole bunch of stuff here that will get in the way, I've cut out some area here. I'm gonna have to obviously fiberglass that when I go ahead and fiberglass everything. This piece right here, that was right like that, but it was getting in the way of the exhaust. I went ahead and cut this piece off, and I'm just gonna get rid of this piece. You guys know that summer is coming, and I gotta actually save some money to do some other projects that we have coming up. So I'm gonna try to keep this on the cheap and do some of the stuff myself. This goes on the end of the exhaust, right on the end of that part right there, like so. And I just had to kind of notch it and bend it over a little bit just so it would fit. And that should work out okay. The reason I'm not just completely cutting this off is because apparently this is on there to keep water from getting up onto your exhaust valves, which really doesn't affect it running wise, apparently, from what I understand, but you can end up with rust on your exhaust valves if you don't have this section on there. So I just kind of notched it, and I'm leaning it over. I just cut this little notch out, tilting it over. I'm going to weld it back up. Super easy. It's crazy cold outside. It's nighttime, but I gotta get this thing welded up because I really want to get my project going. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just gonna weld this thing. I have got this thing all welded up and cleaned up because, well, like they say on gears, you don't want your buddy seeing it that way. So I had to clean it up. Actually, nobody will ever see this. It'll be inside the exhaust. But, you know, if I hadn't cleaned it up, I would have known what it looked like still. And that was just not okay with me. You can see a couple of tiny little divots there. But, you know, it's sealed up good. So we're going to call that good. All I was doing was bending it over slightly just for a little bit of fitment. It shouldn't affect any kind of performance. This is essentially the end of the exhaust, which would be like the tailpipe on a car, but on these, it goes into a water box just full of water to silence it down. So it's a little bit different than a car in that regard. All right, everybody, I've got the exhaust sort of kind of figured out here. You can see stock manifold. I didn't do any weird cutting in this area, which is what a lot of people will do. Instead, I'm cutting the fiberglass here to kind of make room for everything. I still have to clearance this part right here just a tiny bit. So I will be doing that once I pull the exhaust out. But it goes all the way back to here. And then I do have some hoses that I'm going to recycle off of the FCR to attach that. And it should work out pretty good. The way I have the exhaust right now, it comes out in a neat little package. There's the entire exhaust in a neat little package. Just kind of dump in and out. It saves me from having to undo all these bolts when it's in there, which is really a huge pain. I just realized that this mod was completely unnecessary. With the way I got the exhaust set up on here, it's just like stock on the FCR. So it didn't need to have the bend in that pipe, but I've already done it, so I'm just going to leave it that way. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and clearance this out a tiny bit more for the coupler area. It does have a foam backing on it, so you kind of have to peel it off. like so. Nice thing is about this foam stuff, I can just take some sandpaper like this and shape it to create the exact contours that I need. Then obviously we're going to fiberglass that up. I'm actually getting really close on this build. I'm almost to the point where, you know, it's just going to be put everything together and go take it for a spin, because that's just the way this build is going. A lot of figuring out, but once it's all done, it's going to be really quick to put it all together and then just take it out for a test ride. But again, a huge thank you to Sam from Elite Customs. He builds these things for a living, these conversions, and he had all the parts in stock that I would have needed to just make this a total bolt-on, super duper easy. And I actually talked with him for quite a while, just going over some different things, you know, things that I need to know about this particular build and what to expect and such. One thing about this build that I really haven't talked about yet, and that is what the goal is for this. The goal of this is to have a nice 80 to 90 mile per hour ski that doesn't cost an absolute fortune to build. It's interesting because the skis that you can buy today, the newest, latest and greatest ones, max out at 70 miles per hour out of the box. $14,000 to $18,000 for a ski that is limited to 70 miles per hour. That being said, you can buy a part to make them go faster. Ski. I'm not looking to break any speed records with this particular build. If I do decide I want to go really fast, I think I'm going to end up just building the FCR, because it has a much better hull when you get up over 100 miles per hour. It'll be interesting to see how this GPRSHO build does out on our test track. It certainly will have the horsepower and acceleration to make the fastest lap time ever, but the big question will be, will it have enough handling to actually make the fastest lap time ever? But this video is over now, so go ahead and watch another one. See ya! Guys.